The palace may never say it out loud, but insiders whisper that a silent royal decision sent shockwaves through the monarchy. A legendary tiara tied to Princess Diana suddenly appearing on Catherine's head while Camilla was left completely out of the picture. One crown jewel, two powerful royal women, and a centuries-old institution quietly deciding who gets to wear history and who absolutely does not. One tiara, two royal women, and a silence so heavy it speaks louder than any royal announcement ever could. Because the moment Catherine stepped into a glittering ballroom wearing the legendary Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara, the very piece Princess Diana made iconic, the internet exploded with a single question that nobody in the palace would answer publicly. Why Catherine and not Camilla? At first glance, it seems like just another piece of royal jewelry, but this tiara is no ordinary ornament. It is a symbol of legacy, a symbol of public love, and for many royal watchers, a symbol of who truly carries Princess Diana's memory forward. The story of this glittering heirloom begins long before today's royal drama. Back in 1913, Queen Mary commissioned the dazzling Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara from the prestigious House of Gerard. The design itself was inspired by an even older royal jewel once owned by Princess Augusta, Duchess of Cambridge, a piece that dated back more than 2 centuries. The tiara Queen Mary created was breathtaking, 19 delicate diamond arches, each suspending luminous teardrop pearls that shimmered under candlelight and cameras alike. But jewels only become legends when the right person wears them. And in 1981, that moment arrived. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles and stepped into the royal spotlight, Queen Elizabeth II gifted her the Lover's Knot tiara. From that day forward, it wasn't just a tiara anymore, it became Diana's crown. Diana wore it everywhere. State banquets, diplomatic receptions, royal tours across continents. Photographers captured the pearls swaying with every graceful step she took, and the public quickly began to associate the tiara with the Princess of Wales herself. It sparkled above her famous sapphire eyes like a symbol of elegance the world couldn't stop admiring. But behind the glamour, there were whispers. Diana once joked the tiara was so heavy it gave her headaches. Still, she wore it again and again, almost as if she understood the power it carried, the power to define her royal image forever. And then, tragedy struck. In 1997, when Diana's life ended in that devastating Paris crash, something strange happened inside the royal vaults. The Lover's Knot tiara disappeared from public view completely. No royal woman touched it. No photograph showed it. For nearly 18 long years, it remained hidden away, almost as if the palace itself could not bear the sight of it on anyone else. Because how do you replace a legend? For nearly 2 decades, the tiara stayed locked away in the royal jewelry vaults, surrounded by silence and speculation. Royal watchers wondered if it would ever reappear, and if it did, who would dare to wear it. Then suddenly, in 2015, something changed. Cameras flashed inside Buckingham Palace during the annual diplomatic reception, and there she was, Catherine. Elegant, calm, radiant, wearing Diana's beloved Lover's Knot tiara for the very first time. The reaction was immediate. Headlines flooded the internet. Social media erupted. Some called it a touching tribute. Others whispered something much bigger, that Catherine had just stepped fully into Diana's role as the new Princess of Wales. And once it appeared on Catherine's head, it never really left. She wore it again and again at the 2017 Spanish State Banquet, at multiple diplomatic receptions, each appearance sending photographers into a frenzy as they captured the shimmering pearls dancing under palace chandeliers. Every image reignited comparisons between Catherine and Diana, the posture, the elegance, even the way the tiara framed her face. But while Catherine's connection to the tiara grew stronger with every appearance, something else quietly became obvious. Camilla never wore it, not once, which was surprising because technically she could. Here's where the royal rules become far more complicated than the public realizes. Contrary to popular belief, royal women don't simply own these historic jewels. The royal jewelry collection is divided into categories. Some pieces belong permanently to the crown, some are private property, and others are controlled by the reigning monarch and loaned out when needed. The Lover's Knot tiara sits in that middle category. That means the monarch, now King Charles III, ultimately decides who can wear it. And here's the part that crushes one of the biggest internet rumors. Princess Anne doesn't control the vault. She cannot secretly hand the tiara to Catherine or block Camilla from wearing it. The system simply doesn't work that way. way. Instead, something far more subtle is happening. Inside royal circles, tradition and public perception often speak louder than written rules. Senior royal women usually develop unofficial relationships with certain tiaras, pieces that gradually become part of their public identity. And that's exactly what happened with Catherine. When she placed Diana's tiara on her head for the first time in 2015, it wasn't just a fashion choice. It was a quiet declaration that the legacy of the Princess of Wales would continue through her. But this royal jewelry mystery only becomes more fascinating when you look at what happened years later. Because in 2025, after stepping away from public duties during the pandemic and her frightening cancer diagnosis, Catherine made a dramatic comeback that stunned the world. At the French state banquet at Windsor Castle, the doors opened, cameras flashed, and there she was again, wearing the lover's knot. The internet exploded with joy. Headlines called it one of the most powerful royal fashion moments of the decade. Even France's First Lady Brigitte Macron reportedly praised Catherine's elegance that evening, while fashion critics declared the look unforgettable. And just a few months later, she wore it again at the U.S. state banquet honoring President Donald Trump, this time paired with a golden lace gown that had photographers scrambling for the perfect shot. The symbolism was unmistakable. Catherine wasn't just borrowing Diana's tiara anymore, she had claimed it as her signature. Which brings us to the question that palace insiders whisper, but rarely say on record. If Catherine wears Diana's tiara again and again, why has Queen Camilla never worn it even once? Because the answer reveals something far deeper about the monarchy, a silent rule that governs royal jewels, public emotion, and the delicate balance between past heartbreak and present power. And once you understand that rule, the entire royal story suddenly looks very different. The truth behind Camilla and Diana's tiara is not written in any royal handbook, yet everyone inside the palace understands it perfectly. It's a rule that no official document mentions, no royal spokesperson confirms, and no monarch ever publicly explains. But it quietly shapes one of the most sensitive decisions inside the British royal family. And it answers the question people have been asking for years. Why does Queen Camilla, the wife of the king, avoid the most famous tiara in the royal collection? The answer begins with something far more powerful than authority: public memory. Because Diana was not just another royal figure. She became something much bigger, a global icon. When people think of Princess Diana, certain images immediately appear. The sapphire engagement ring, the dazzling gowns, the shy tilt of her head, and of course, the Cambridge lover's knot tiara sparkling above her hair. That image became embedded in history. So when Catherine first wore that tiara in 2015, the public reaction wasn't outrage, it was acceptance. In fact, many people felt it was almost inevitable. Catherine had stepped into the exact role Diana once held, Princess of Wales. She was married to Diana's son, and she carried the responsibility of continuing the legacy Diana left behind. In many ways, Catherine wearing the tiara felt like history gently continuing its course. But for Camilla, the emotional landscape is completely different. Her relationship with the public has always been complicated. Long before she became queen consort, her name was entangled in the painful collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage. For years, tabloids painted her as the outsider who disrupted the fairy tale. Even though time softened many opinions and Camilla slowly built respect through charity work and public service, the emotional memory surrounding Diana never fully disappeared. And that is exactly why the lover's knot tiara remains untouched by her. Not because she isn't allowed to wear it, but because she understands the reaction it would create. Imagine the headlines if she appeared wearing Diana's signature tiara. The photographs would spread across the world within minutes. Social media would explode with comparisons. Commentators would question the symbolism. Critics would accuse the palace of rewriting history. Camilla knows this, and according to royal insiders, she has never even tried to claim the tiara. Instead, she has quietly built her own identity through a completely different collection of jewels. Her most recognizable piece is the Greville tiara, a striking diamond honeycomb design originally created by the luxury jewelry house Boucheron. The tiara was left to the Queen Mother in 1942 by Dame Margaret Greville, and today it has become almost synonymous with Camilla's public image. Whenever she attends state banquets, diplomatic receptions, or major ceremonial events, the Greville tiara often appears on her head. Over time, the association has grown so strong that royal watchers now recognize it instantly as Camilla's tiara. But that's far from the only jewel she wears. She also appears frequently in the historic Delhi Durbar tiara, a dramatic diamond piece originally created for Queen Mary in 1911. Then there's the Belgian sapphire tiara, a dazzling creation that Camilla proudly wore during one of King Charles's first state banquets as monarch. More recently, she surprised royal observers by bringing back the rarely seen Queen Alexandra's Kokoshnik tiara, a magnificent diamond crown containing over 400 sparkling stones that hadn't appeared publicly in years. Each of these tiaras helps Camilla shape her own royal identity, one separate from Diana's shadow. And that separation matters, because royal jewelry is never just about fashion. It sends messages. Every tiara worn at a state banquet, every necklace chosen for a diplomatic reception, every brooch pinned to a royal gown carries meaning. These choices quietly communicate hierarchy, tradition, legacy, and sometimes even emotion. For example, when Catherine wore Queen Victoria's Oriental circlet tiara during the German state banquet in December 2025, royal historians immediately recognized the symbolism. The tiara had not been seen in public for 2 decades and was deeply associated with the Queen Mother. Catherine's choice linked her not just to Diana, but to generations of royal women before her. It was a statement. She wasn't simply inheriting Diana's legacy. She was expanding it. And this is where the monarchy reveals one of its most fascinating survival strategies. It adapts. After Diana's death in 1997, the royal family faced a wave of criticism unlike anything it had experienced before. Many people believe the palace appeared cold and disconnected from the grief the public felt. The institution realized something crucial in that moment. Symbols matter. Every gesture matters. Every appearance matters. And yes, even every tiara matters. Today's monarchy understands that the public analyzes everything, especially in an era of instant social media reactions and non-stop global coverage. A single photograph can trigger debates across millions of screens within minutes. So the palace quietly navigates these emotional landscapes with remarkable caution. Catherine wearing Diana's tiara represents continuity. Camilla avoiding it represents sensitivity. And Princess Anne, known for her tireless work ethic, maintains her own consistent identity by regularly wearing the diamond festoon tiara she received decades ago in 1973. Each woman shines in her own space, without colliding with another's symbolic role. But the story of Diana's tiara doesn't end with Catherine, because royal jewels are always thinking about the future. No dramatic confrontation, just a quiet understanding inside palace walls, a delicate balance between history, emotion, and public perception. Because inside the British monarchy, power is not always shown through crowns. Sometimes it is revealed through the jewels someone chooses not to wear.